I'm out here for phase one of a project that we've taken on around this pond. It's real marshy, wet most of the time, especially during the winter months, so it can be very difficult to get this cleared out because the equipment just tends to sink, and it can be hard to walk on, you know, with a weed eater and such. So what I'm doing, or what I've already done, is I've cleared a path, a perimeter around the area that we're going to be working on first. We're going to go right up to this pond. We're going to do the other side for phase two once this is done, probably closer to the fall. But so you can kind of see a trail in the background. That's where I've cleared. It's about 4 to 6 feet wide, and so I'm going to be putting the electric fence in today. The electric fence that I use is Premier One electric fencing. You know, there's wildlife out here, and we don't want anything getting the goats while they're working on this area, and we definitely don't want the goats to get out. So they're trained on it. I'm going to be setting that up with a plug-in electric charger as well, and so I will make a video about that also. So I'm going to go ahead and get started setting up the fence.
The fence I'm using for this job comes in 164-foot rolls. It's the ElectroStop electric netting from Premier One Supplies. When I start a strand, I'll anchor it down to something, be it a tree or in this case a fence post. I'll tie it off with some string onto the fence post and be sure to stay away from any barbed wire or anything that could possibly conduct, you know, the electricity from the fence through.
For being so wet and marshy over here, it is literally just solid rock 2 inches down into the dirt, so I'm having a time getting these posts in, but that's just part of it. You never really know what you're going to get. I don't think I'll need a mallet or anything, but it is definitely a challenge getting these stakes in. On this side of the pond, you can see it kind of going up the hill. I guess 3 or 4 more strands to go. It's really not that bad. I can do it myself. It's not real heavy. The only really issues I've ever had dealing with it is it tends to get tangled if you're not careful, if you're not watching what you're doing, and if the ground is covered in sticks and things for it to get hung up on. But overall, it's an easy-to-use fence, and it works. It does what it says it does. And I've taken this portable fence up, you know, many times, moved it to other locations, and never had the goats get out of it. So never had anything come into it either. Had several dogs run up on it. I think pit bulls, I believe, and that were roaming around, and they just bounced right off. So that is good for me.
All the fence is up and all the goats are inside. I've put a water bucket inside and filled it with water. That way they can stay hydrated. And we also put up a shelter as well for them for when it rains. It took 4 strands of fencing to completely enclose the space, and as you can see, it's pretty green the further down and away from this fence you get. The goats are protected, and they'll be able to eat safely. I'm guessing it should take them about 3 weeks to completely clear this space up and down the hill, and then behind and around the barn that you could probably see in the distance. They may or may not get a lot of this grass here in the center, depending on how wet it is. You can see the job is complete. It's actually only took them 2 weeks to take care of this. Sometimes it takes longer, or they get it done sooner. It depends. Depends a lot on the weather. They don't really like to be out in the rain, so if it's real rainy, they're not going to go out much. They did leave a little of the grass kind of in that culvert there. Now the homeowner can manage that little strip there, and the rest of this can just be easily mowed.